Last year, archaeologists in Peru uncovered something absolutely spectacular. It is the giant fossilized skull of an ancient whale they called Basilosaurus. Now, when I saw this article, it reminded me of some things that we have uncovered in Antarctica using Google Earth Pro. But when I started digging around the Peruvian desert where this was found, I came across something from an entirely different investigation, and I would like to share that with you today. I believe satellites have accidentally captured another Tic Tac craft in flight. Yep, that's right. The craft that was tracked by the USS Nimitz off the coast of San Diego, we found multiple examples of that craft in Antarctica. This is the first one that I have found outside Antarctica, and it is incredible to see. Now, the first thing we have to do is talk about what happened with the Nimitz, because the details of this are where the meat is. The descriptions from the pilots, which, by the way, the Navy has redacted from Wikipedia. I can't find the statements anywhere other than my own video, where I literally read it verbatim, and I just want to share this about 2-minute clip to give you guys a basic rundown of what happened in 2004 with the carrier group Nimitz. There were multiple different vessels on the surface that tracked these craft. It wasn't just a sighting by a couple of pilots, but just give me a second to get the volume adjusted, and I'll let you guys listen to this 2-minute section.
When the same event, speaking of this group of contacts that appeared on radar, occurred again around 9:30 Pacific Standard Time on 14 November 2004, an operations officer aboard Princeton contacted 2 airborne U.S. Navy Boeing FA-18EF Super Hornets from USS Nimitz flying a combat exercise at the time. The aircraft were 2-seat variants, and each pilot was accompanied by a weapons system officer. So we had a grand total of 4 officers that were witness to this. Now, Princeton's radio operator, Kevin Day, directly instructed the pilots to change their course and investigate the unidentified radar spot observed by Princeton's own radar. They had been observing this for a matter of days, not just on the Princeton, but on other craft as well, and from the air. This was done to determine if the objects posed any collision danger to an upcoming air defense exercise. A radio operator on Princeton, however, asked the pilots if they were carrying operational weapons, to which the pilots replied that they were not, and that's normal procedure. Weather conditions that day showed excellent visibility with a blue sky, no cloud cover, and a calm sea. When the jet fighters arrived on site, the crew of 4 saw nothing in the air nor on their radar. On Princeton's radar, however, it was noticed that the object had now dropped from 28,000 feet to near sea level in less than a second. As the pilots looked down at the sea, they noticed a turbulent oval area of churning water with foam and frothy waves, the size of a Boeing 737, with a smoother area of lighter color at the center, as if the waves were breaking over something just under the surface. A few seconds later, they noticed an unusual object hovering with erratic movements about 50 feet above the churning water. Both Fravor and Slate, 2 of the pilots, later described the object as a large, bright white Tic Tac, 30 to 46 feet, that's 9 to 14 meters, with no windshield, porthole, wing, or empennage, and no visible engine or exhaust plume. Okay, so now we have a description of the shape and the size.
And just to clarify what I was speaking about there, the Princeton is the Tycho-class cruiser in the upper left here. This is, of course, the Nimitz in the lower left. They had also tracked these craft with an EA-2C Hawkeye. And this had gone on for a couple of days with this strike carrier group. So the F-18 pilots attempted to engage these things. They aggressively maneuvered to try to intercept them with absolutely no luck. And F-18s aren't big craft, but they are fast. And if it can outrun an F-18, there's not much out there other than maybe a Typhoon that can outclimb it. So, this is what they described, this Tic Tac craft. Now, strangely enough, I'll give you these links. I was looking through the locations that we had found in Antarctica that show these. And I went to look at one, and I thought, you know what? I wonder if it lines up with anything else. Well, lo and behold, guess what? It does. It is pretty unbelievable. Now, first, though, the Peruvian one. Let's go there first. There we go. Got the right one here. Now, this is real close to this network. Now, the strange thing about this, way out here in the middle of this desert, when you zoom in, it has a bit of an orange appearance, not white. But that would make sense looking down from a satellite. If it was moving very fast, you might see the red shift, so to speak. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with what the Doppler effect is. With light, they can tell whether something is moving away from us or moving toward us based on the reflection of the light and the colors that come back and how they come back. Now, the crazy part about this is the Google Earth Pro program allows you to look at different layers of imagery through different years. This is a picture from the exact same place, October 2016. This is also October 2016. They took two pictures of one area of remote desert in the middle of Peru. Two pictures in 1 month. And to give you an idea how strange that is, the next picture, and they don't take another picture after that. This is the last image they have, but before that, this is 10 of 2016, March of 2016, February 2015, October 2013. There's nothing interesting out here. But for some strange reason, they took two pictures, actually three total in 2016, but two in October. And one of them picked up this very strange burning orange oval. But here is the key. Let's measure it. $11 meters. In feet, 37 feet. It's literally exactly within the window of size that was described by the pilots of the F-18. It's unbelievable. Now that's the Peruvian one. Now let's go take a look at the one that we found actually a couple years ago. Now this one's pretty undeniable. Bright white, setting on the surface, plain as day, and when you measure this one, once again, you get the exact same thing. Let's go ahead and measure. 58 feet long. 17 meters, exactly as big as they said these craft were. Now, what are the odds? Now remember, this little image right here where this is, it's only 50 feet wide. This area here is only 50 feet wide. I'm not talking about a huge area here. You take a line and you draw from there straight through the Pentagon that we found in Argentina. Guess where you end up? If you follow that perfectly straight line. You come right through the Peruvian desert, by the way. This is the flight corridor where that incident happened off Ciudad del Carmen. That huge fleet of UFOs that were just glowing white lights. And then if you continue that line, oh, by the way, now remember, we started in Antarctica at a little teeny tiny 55-foot wide craft. We've threw a line directly through a Pentagon, way out in the middle of nowhere in Argentina. And then we ended up going nearly right over Ciudad del Carmen, where a huge, we have video of, flight of UFOs completely flummoxed the Mexican military. And then that same straight line takes you to the Guardian formation in Alberta, Canada. The chances of these four things all lying along the same heading is infinitesimally small as a coincidence. That these aren't somehow connected, you're never going to convince me. You're never going to convince me that these aren't connected. Somehow, some way, that these are energy waypoints. And don't get me started on Fort Belknap. We could do that. Well, that's another video. And that it goes over these major cities, by the way, to Dallas and Houston. And ends up, I mean, I know some people think this is, just drawing random lines, but do these lines look random? Some of them may be off by 1/10 of a degree, maybe 2/10 of a degree, but there's no way these are random. This is a grid formation. This is a map. I guarantee it is. And this is, we'll go back there again. To this area in Antarctica to show you how small an area it is. This is clearly some type of a buried launch site that we just can't see because of the snow and ice. I've tried to pick out different aspects of what's going on here, but this is the only best picture we have. It looks like there may be another smaller craft up here as well. So hard to say on this, but the fact that it all lines up like this, I think the more we look, the more we see, the more imagery we get, the more we will see exactly how they're moving. Why? Who knows? But one thing's for sure. This is not random. This is all connected. And it all started by looking at a whale skull. Go figure. God bless, like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.